Good morning. Okay, I think I've got everything up. Let's fix this real fast. It's going to be week 2. There we go. Good morning. It is before the chickens woke up. My family is sleeping. I'm going to clear that light. Oh, and I've got coffee, but I really wanted to get started this morning. I was traveling this week and did not get a chance to do my week 2 layout just yet. So I'm going to move that light real fast while we're talking. So I wanted to get it done today because it's technically due tomorrow. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. Okay. Now we're not quite getting it right in the eyeball. Okay. The sun is not quite up yet, so the lighting's going to be a bit weird. And I evidently have a hair in my eyeball. Oh, have a hair in my eyeball already. So a couple of things you're going to notice. It is almost 8 o'clock in the morning. I literally woke up, brushed my teeth, put moisturizer on, have a cup of coffee that I stole out the coffee pot. It's not even done cooking yet. And I have what I call my company jammies on. So I have sweatpants and a t-shirt on. This is as good as it's going to get. I want to play. I want to get this started. Why does it feel like my lights aren't on at all? This corner is very dark. Okay. That's okay. So what we're going to be working with is Allison Davis's 6x6 sketches. And I'm not allowed to show you her sketch, but I am allowed to show you what I create with it. And it is the Allison Davis Facebook group to 6x6 sketches, and there's 20 of them in there, and I'm trying to see if I can figure out what the name of the it just says 6x6 paper pads on the paperwork. And you can buy these sketches from Scrapbook Generation. I have a cat hair on me. So you can buy them from scrapbookgeneration.com in their digital ebook section. So that's how I did it. I bought mine, paid for them with my own money. Coffee's done. I am not sponsored by anybody. I just do this because I enjoy it. I have fun. Coffee's on the strong side. That's okay. I think we're gonna need it. So for this layout, I am going to be using Lovely. This is out of the brand new Close to My Heart catalog. And I did a little bit of prep work last night because I felt like playing with paper, but I wasn't to the point where I was ready to stick anything down yet. Here comes Biscuit. Yeah, don't you eat that. Go to your box. Go get in your box. I know, go get in your box. Good boy. I just needed to do some prep work, but I wasn't ready to stick anything down yet. So what I did is I cut the paper pad and I cut the flags, for lack of a better word. So what I did is, because I'm using 12 by 12 paper for this 6x6 sketch, is I took these 2 pieces of paper and I cut them into 6x6, and then I took part of the paper and made some of the flags with it. And then I used linen cardstock and, sorry, I've got the hiccups, canary cardstock to finish out the flags. And then I'm going to use some of the stickers, which is why I still have it out. So let me pull this out. I'm going to put this away real fast because if I don't, the kittens will chew on it. Hi, what are you doing? I know it's playtime for you. It's work time for me. No, don't do that in the camera. over there and do that. Y'all don't want to see a cat washing his rear end today, do you? No, I don't think so. So, I have in this little envelope I have my pictures cut down to the sketch. I have my journaling. The title, and this is where I goofed up last time we played together, so I had to move the sketch where it was. The title is on the sticker sheet, and then I've got my flags cut. This is going to be where on her sketch it is stripe strips. I am using Shimmer Trim. I lost my word there for a minute. Shimmer Trim. It's close to my heart. And I'm using the, it's just called Pink on the Roll, but I'm trying to bring out some of the pink in the patterns. I'm going to take these real fast, and we're going to put our labels on. Get that out of the way. So I prepped what I'm working on today, and I prepped the next layout. I'm going to get these out of the way because I don't want, I'm going to go ahead and put these back in the envelope until I'm ready to use them so the kittens don't get heat print on them. And we're going to start with edging the inking the edges while we wake up. And I'm going to ink all the edges. Whisper, whisper. Double check everything. You're still half asleep. You've only had one sip of coffee. So technically, I'm not late on this layout yet because it is due tomorrow. This shirt is bugging me. Stay down. I'm feeling a breeze. And I was traveling with my mother-in-law to go check on the grandparents, and it took us 9 days. So we drove. So I posted week 1 the day it came out, the Monday it came out, which I think was the 4th or 5th. So this is actually week 2. And then I may get week 3 done later today. I may do a live later today. Depends. We're going to work in the room. Mike's been making progress. We now have legs on the tables. And we're going to try and put the sheet metal, or at least straighten the sheet metal today. And get that down. Once the sheet metal's down, the rest of it's going to go quickly. Except for building the paper slats. He does have to do that. So that. Hi, Bubba's. Kittens are going to go crazy because I'm the only one awake, and I'm the first person awake. And they're going to be trying to wake my husband up, and he doesn't need to wake up. He needs to sleep, as long as his little self will sleep. And I'm trying not to look, I know I'm bouncing all over the place. This is Jenny with no coffee. I'm trying not to look ahead on the sketches. A, because I kind of don't want to scare myself. If there's one that I'm kind of leery about, I don't want to freak out about it and just close down and not finish. I want to finish this class. And like I said, I've never done anything like this before with this length or this complexity. If you haven't done an Allison Davis Facebook group class yet, next time, and she said during the video this week that she wants to keep doing this format, that she is really enjoying this format. And basically, guys, I'm not joking, the sketches cost me $12 to download the sketches. You're getting way more than $12 worth of, your money. The back work that she does, the support, content, the videos that she makes, the extra sketches that she gives you, you're getting way more than $12. My part, all I have to do is stick with it. That's it. Just stick with it and finish it. And when I'm done, I'm going to have 20 layouts finished. I mean, how cool is that? And it really is. I mean, if you're strapped for time today, I'm going to try and get 2 weeks done, because if I don't, I'm technically behind. But if you don't have very much time to scrapbook, it's 1 layout a week. That's it. And you have all week to do it. It's not like it's due on Monday. She drops all of the information on Monday. Everybody starts posting what they've already done, because a lot of ladies work ahead. A lot of ladies have very full lives, so they may sit down and do 2 or 3 sketches in one sitting. And then what you do is you just take a picture of your sketch and post it to a photo album on Facebook. That's it. That's, you know, and you don't even have to do that. You know, it's not like we're being graded on our sketches. Just everybody wants to share, you know. And, you know, if you just want to check it off, hey, I did it, then you did it. If you can, you know, you have a block of time that you can sit down and do 5 sketches at a time. And then you just sit back and you know, you post each layout when it's due, the Monday that it's due. Do that too. But I highly, highly recommend, if you can get into this class, get into this class. Because she stretches your creative brain. And I'm enjoying it. I really am. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really enjoying it. Let's see. Is a headband going to make my life easier? Is it going to make my hair look a little better this morning? Let's see. Let's go off on a tangent, shall we? Because it's bad enough you're getting half asleep, Jenny. That's a little better. That's a little better. We'll play with that. So all I'm doing right now is just inking the edges. And I had to leave myself a note. If you notice on the envelopes, you know, that there's an extra photo on the layout. Ink the edges. You know, I leave myself notes if I'm putting a kit together of what my nighttime brain is saying to my daytime brain. So that's one thing with doing lives. I'm used to just turning on the camera and filming whenever I feel like working. And while I could do a live at 2 o'clock in the morning, the time it takes to complete a layout in one sitting, my brain may not be awake the entire time at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I don't want to do, hey, I have half a layout done, come back tomorrow and let's finish it with this class. I did it on the very first stream before I was used to streaming for multiple hours. But I want to keep these class streams all in one if I can help it. So now she's also, with these flags, she has some of them stitched. So what I will be doing is putting them on the layout and then seeing which ones need to be stitched, if I remember that step. I think this one's going to need it. I am going to have to run wash my hands real fast before we move forward, because I get ink all over myself. So I will wipe down my surface with a baby wipe and wash my hands when I'm done with all these. So a lot of times what I'm doing with close to my heart papers is, like, the Canary and the Whisper were not included in the workshop paperback as far as cardstock. I have every color of cardstock that Close to My Heart makes. I have the inks, I have the re-inker, and I have the cardstock. I make a bulk order once a year, save my money for it all year, and I make a bulk order. It's huge, and I order one of every cardstock, an inker and a re-inker. That way, because Close to My Heart papers are my main paper line that I use, and then I balance it out with, I have the Echo Park bi-monthly subscription kit, and I have figured out that Echo Park and Cardabella and Close to My Heart colors all blend really well. So I just make sure that I've got every, at least one pack of every cardstock. And then if I need to use an accent color like the Whisper and the Canary in a paper pack that's not featured, then, that they don't give you a piece of cardstock for it, then I have it. So, and I can just pull from my stock. And that stems from when I was a consultant. We used to, when we went to convention, we were given access to what's called bundles. And it was basically, you could get your starter color, you could get basically what I just bought. You could get one paper pack of every color, and then your inks. And, they would be separate bundles, but by the time you got home, your new color palette of 8 or 10 colors, whatever, changed that year, you'd have them at home already by the time you got home. And they were typically about 30-35% cheaper. So now I just, Close to My Heart just changed their Hostess Reward program. I don't know how this is going to work next year. What I've done the last 2 years, and it's worked out really well, is my consultant knows that I'm going to make this bulk order when the new catalog comes out. So we would open a party for myself, and it sounds like Mom's up. And I would order the paper, the ink pads, the couple of paper pads that I wanted, and then the party would total enough that I could get my re-inkers for free. So we'll see how it works next year, because they just changed their Hostess Reward program. They did away with it, and it's a VIP program now. So where it kind of gives you, it's kind of like a cashback program. That's the easiest way to put it. So I'm going to be saving my cash back and seeing if I can get at least, and I don't know if I can, because I'm not ordering as much as I used to. I'm not ordering $100 a month with Close to My Heart anymore, because I'm not a consultant. But if I could get at least $100 saved up in my, not $100, $60 saved up in my cash back, that's about what my Hostess rewards were, and it would be the same difference. So that would work. We shall see. So okay, I'm going to use the pink. I'm making sure what side I'm inking is the side that I want. So if you have not watched the last stream, I don't know if you can tell, but directly behind me, the other way, that way, right there on the wall, you'll see an empty white rack. That's my ribbon rack. I have not put the ribbon back on it yet. I need to do that. We took it down and we painted it white. It is just an old cassette tape rack. Remember those? And painted it white, and it fits my ribbons and my Tim Holtz Distressing Inks perfectly. And it was finished just before I left, and we just stuck it up on the wall. My husband only painted the front side, because why paint the back side? Nobody's going to see it. So I was just kind of letting the paint set, and then we painted my ink racks that my pads go on white. I've wanted those painted for, oh my goodness, the entire time I've had them. They come, when I order them, they come just as a natural wood color. or they arrived as a natural wood color. And they've always just been in the closet, so why paint them? I wanted them painted, but why paint them? Well, in the new room, hopefully, if I can make it work, they're not going to be in the... Just remembered, I forgot to put my phone on silent. They're not going to be in the closet if what I'm thinking will work. So I wanted them painted white to kind of pop off my gray walls. So we'll see how that works. And then if you notice over on, I'm getting mixed up, over on that side, that cube that doesn't have a black bin in it, that is my tester cube for my pattern paper. I took the black bin out. I just kind of set my pattern paper in there to see, do I like that? Is it functional for me? Before I have my husband build all the slats in one of those complete units. But that's all of my pattern paper. That's it right there. All in that one cube. So I'm going to have him build slats in 4 of the cubes. And then the other 4 cubes I'll have black bins in them temporarily. And then if I end up with enough paper to fill up an entire paper side of pattern paper, I fully intend to on cardstock. I think cardstock, I've already got it full. But if I fill the whole thing with pattern paper, I need to do some serious scrapbooking. Because with that one cube, I feel like I have just enough. I feel like I have enough that I have what I need to have variety. There's the word I'm looking for, variety. And I'm trying to use paper as it comes in. I'm trying to get it used just as fast going back out. So what I have is, I have my collections, and I'll show you how I have all this organized when I get moved into the room. I'll do a full organization video. But I have my collections in those record sleeves that I just put away. That one that I just put away, that's a record sleeve. And I have paper that, you know how you've kind of killed a kit, but you've got 2 or 3 full sheets of paper that you're like, oh, I like this paper. Or you may have 2 or 3 sheets of paper that you're like, I'm done. I can't look at this paper anymore. So if it's a set that I need to move along to a new house, I normally keep a 12 by 12 shipping box, like from either Echo Park or Close to My Heart. I normally keep one that I can just slide paper into. And then when that box gets full, I take it over to the Children's Hospital and donate it. But if it's paper that I still enjoy, that I haven't just gotten sick of, then what I'll do when I'm done killing a kit and I only have 2 or 3 sheets left is I'll take it and go, is this a background pattern? Is it a floral? Is it travel? Is it school? Is it wedding? And I'll put it in that section, so that I'm more apt to find it. So I've got some of my pattern paper mixed up in sections that I have killed a kit and mixed it all up. And I have some still in their collections. And I know if it's a collection, it's newer. And if it's a single sheet of paper, then that's from an old kit that I have killed. So, and I try to keep the zip strips on the cardstock, because then that tells me what colors I need to use with it. Where it's going to bite me in the butt, and it will bite me in the butt, is if it's a piece that I've already cut the zip strip off. Then I'm just going to have to match up some cardstock. No biggie. Just about done, guys. Okay, there we go. Let me put this away. And close this before a cat walks across it. Alright, let me take all this real fast, set it aside, get a baby wipe, wipe this down, and wash my hands just real fast. See, that's why I baby wipe it. See all those little particles of ink that came off my dauber? I don't want that getting on my layout. Okay, while this dries, I'm going to go wash my hands really quickly. Dry it off. There we go. Okay. Okay, this needs to be... I gotta make some photo mats. I didn't do that yet. 1 inch from the top edge. Which means they are probably 1 inch, because 6. Yep, they're 1 inch from the bottom. Okay. I like working from the bottom. So, let's do a test run here. Yeah, I think I need to do it this way. Okay, that'll work. All right. So 1 inch from the bottom. And this is... I think this is 1 inch here. Yep, it's an inch. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to do the shimmer trim. Get it on. But I'm going to trim this just a hair. Just a tiny bit. Nothing major. Bless me. Okay, let's try that again. Just trying to get the backing off the Shimmer Trim. It can be a little temperamental. Sometimes you can get your nail right underneath it. Sometimes you can't. It wasn't so darn pretty and so easy to use. Dang, it doesn't want to come apart. There we go, got it. Get off my finger. There we go. Alright, let's try you again. Haha, got it that time. Okay, so now we have this side and this side. Those are the ones I need the matting for. So I'll put those back in because I haven't done the matting yet. So I think I did this as a 4x4, so that's not going to work there. Okay. So I did 2 3x4s because I knew my journaling would be a little bit bigger. And that's actually a little bit less than 1 inch. It'll be alright. There are no scrapbooking polices, so it will be just fine. So let me put these on real fast. Actually, I need to put some color on this side, so let's do that one. And these two. Yep, like that. Okay. So these photos are, again, I'm working in 2016, and these are the Washington trip that we took to visit a high school friend, and then she was a fantastic tour guide. But these were the water gardens next to her house, and I tried to look up what it was, who it was, and honestly, I can't remember. And all the stuff that I picked up to bring home to prompt me, I neglected to get anything from these water gardens. So that works. Okay. I neglected to pick up any information from the water gardens. So I just have to play with it. I'm going to use, this is going to be, I'm going to have to back that with something. I think I'm going to, I don't know if I've got enough of this to back everything. So I think that's what I'm going to be using. So 4x4 and 3x3. Okay. This is linen. So 3 1/4. Right, 3 1/4. And that's going to be big enough. 4 1/4. Actually, I'm going to just trim that down a little bit. That'll work. Okay, so this is 4 1/4. Yes, 4 1/4. And then 4 1/4 and 4 1/4. Okay, I'm going to just trim this photo a hair to make it work, because I'm not going to waste that little piece of paper for a 3x3 square when I can just make the photo fit. And she also has her photos under the strips. I don't want that. I'm going to just angle them a little differently. Because these are landscape photos, so it will be fine. I'm not going to be covering up any faces or anything like that. Yep, perfect. There is no need to waste a piece of paper. Okay, so this, and then I will probably need one more piece of linen to back this. So let me see if I've got a scrap piece of linen. I don't think I do. Nope, I do not. I think it's 4x4. Yep, that'll be close enough. Close enough. I'm going to take this piece of paper and put it in with the collection. I normally would put it back in my racks in their scrap section, but I think I'm going to be using this fairly recently, I'm going to be using this packet fairly quickly, and that piece will get used with that. So I'm going to just leave that the way it is. Stuck in that collection. And I love using my little bitty stapler for attaching vellum journaling. It's been a game changer. I know that's kind of an overused term, but it really has been. I don't have to deal with adhesive showing anymore. So actually, we need you. Okay. I'm going to lay these out. Okay. Scoot these over a little bit. Scoot that like that a little bit. Now, one tip that Allison gave with these strips was to ink them to make them stand out on the pattern paper. And I can see why, because they would get lost in the patterns if you did not ink them. So that was a really good tip. And I just went through, these are 1-inch strips. And I just went through and cut them at various lengths. And then angled the edges. And it's not going to meet all the way up to the edge. I think I'm okay with that. And just leave it alone. I'm not going to make it meet to the edge. I mean, I could make it if I forced it, or if I could cut 2 more sheets and force it, but I think we're good. So I'll just make it start a little bit over on this side. Okay, now what I need to do is do a placement check. This is supposed to be a 3x3 photo, and I made it a 4x4. I don't want to cut my sister-in-law off the photo. That would work. And this one. Like that. That would work. I think that'll work the way that is, because I don't want to cut. I liked this picture. I know it's a bit odd, but I liked Barbara and my nephew being very tired and kind of goofing off over the railing, and then my sister-in-law and the marshes. And I think what they were actually looking at, or what Devin was looking at, was this turtle over here. So I'd like to keep that photo in if I can. But we also have me, Barbara. Let's just see something. Let's see if this. That would work. That would work. Yeah, let's do it that way. That works. Okay, so before I stick anything down, I'm going to stitch some of these edges. I'm not going to do the whole thing because obviously photos are going to cover it. And I'm not stitching every single flag, so don't panic. You're not going to be here 5 years. But I am going to add some interest and some contrast. I'm just kind of roughly placing. Pardon my head for a moment. The blue pattern paper is a little bit harder to pokey because you can't see the holes. So, pardon my head for just a minute. Now the background paper is French vanilla, so I'm going to use French vanilla thread. Because I want it to be, ooh, she added a tiny bit of thread. Not, oh my god, you know. Let me get the other side real fast. And one more, and then we'll start stitching. I'm not being overly careful on my hole placement because I want it to be a tiny bit quirky. So if there are some that are close and some that are kind of not straight and some that are a little farther apart, that's okay with me. I want it to be a little quirky. So, by the way, I am really enjoying this sticky ruler. It's become my best friend. I have some black thread started for layout 3 because I'll be doing some more stitching. I did a little bit of stitching on the prep work for 3 because I couldn't get the vellum to stick the way I wanted it to. Oh, wait, these aren't separated. Okay, well, some of it is. I may have to separate some thread. Okay. I couldn't get it to stick the way I wanted it to. So I stitched it down really quickly. It didn't take me very long at all. And then I've got some other stitching to do on that layout. So now there have been some questions in the group, and I don't know if you're in the group or not. But there have been some questions regarding stitching. Some ladies are starting stitching for the very first time. And the best thing I can tell you is I like to work with 3 strands. You don't necessarily have to break it down. The size of your needle really doesn't matter unless this, if your hole's really big and your needle's really little, it's not going to make that much of a difference, other than the fact of if your hole's really big and your thread's really thin, you'll be able to see through your holes. If your hole's really little and your needle is big, it's going to open up your holes for you, to accommodate the needle. I just use a needle that is comfortable in my hand. I don't really pay attention over much to needle versus hole size unless it's obvious. I prefer breaking it down into 3s because when I fold it over, it becomes 6. If you don't fold it over, you can get away with 6. I just don't like trying to keep a tail. There's been too many times I've pulled through and my tail has come right out of my needle, and it drives me crazy. I would rather secure it to the back of my layout and not worry about it. So, if you are one that you want your stitches to be very neat and prim and in a line, there are several rulers. I know Tim Holtz has one. I think this might be it here. I think I bought it. Let me look. Oh, this might be the scrapbook.com ruler. In one of my videos, I have a link to it. But these holes are very straight, very precise. I've also have, when I couldn't find a ruler and mine was starting to fall apart, I went to leather making. And I found this ruler, and I actually ordered 5 of them. So this is from a leather maker. This works. What I don't like about it is if you notice on a ruler made for hand stitching, there are guidelines so that when you're lining things up, you can see the guidelines. You can line up your holes a little bit easier. There are no guidelines on here. So while it will poke a hole, you have to be a little bit more precise with what you're doing. And then I also have several stitching templates that are designs and stuff. So, and then this is my new favorite. This is the EK Tools. It's a sticky ruler, but the holes are bigger, which is great when you want to get your pokey tool in. The holes are bigger, but on the flip side, it's easier to get a quirky stitch because they don't line up quite as straight as the hard rulers do. So, if you're looking for neat, tidy, in a row, just take your time poking your holes. Make sure everything is lined up immaculately. If it doesn't matter to you, just poke. I also have, didn't tell you this, I also have this. This is called a needle tool. You find it in the sewing section of a craft store. And it is just a wheel with needles, and I have to be careful because this sucker hurts. And what you do is you just roll it across your paper. I have never been able to get a straight line, so I use this when I want really quirky lines. It works best on a single sheet, not anything with layers. And it also is really good if you just want to put holes in the paper but not stitch them. So like if you want a faux stitch or a rough type layout, a very distressed Tim Holtzy type of layout, that would be a great tool. And I got it from Hobby Lobby. And you know, Hobby Lobby, that one I think I got from Hobby Lobby. You can get them on Amazon, Michael's, Joann's, any type of sewing store, any type of fabric store. So, but I prefer longer needles because they're easier to hold. And then as you see, I have my little tray that has my tomato. I keep a little shot glass full of threaders. This is just some thread that I used on a different layout that I haven't put away yet. And this is, there's my, aha, I knew I had another one. This is just a adhesive rub thing in case I get adhesive in the wrong spot. So that's just a little tray of all my little goodies. And then the other thing you want to be mindful of is you want a pair of scissors that are not your good paper scissors. Preferably you would need a fabric pair of scissors and a paper pair of scissors. I tend to grab these if I'm making just a quick paper cut, that doesn't matter, but these are mainly for adhesive and fabric. And then I have good scissors for, you know, cutting paper, and of course my trimmer. So those are the basics. And then I stick with DMC thread. It tends to just be a little bit better quality. It doesn't break. I've never had a piece break on me of DMC thread. And I just wait for it to go on sale. So if you're in my Facebook group, I have a list of DMC numbers that match close to my heart paper. So if you would like to match up your thread to the paper, that list is in the files of my Facebook group. And then I just go to the scrapbook store and get 3 skeins, and a skein is this, just one of these. I get 3 skeins of each color, and that lasts me a good while. And I just wait for it to go on sale. So like this time when I had a color change and I was getting 8 or 9 new colors, I just bought 3 of each. So, and then the ones that I keep in these jars are black and French vanilla. Because those are the ones those are my neutrals. Those are the ones that I reach for the most if I want a neutral thread. And these are just little candle jars. They're little 50-cent candles that my mom used to buy, and she would clean them out and save the jars for me. So I have several of these around my room. But thread, needle and thread, sewing, it adds just a little bit of dimension, a little bit of texture, not a lot of money. I pick up my skeins for like 30 cents a skein. So where can you buy a scrapbooking supply for 30 cents? And because I'm splitting it in half, it's really 15 cents. Because I'm getting more bang for my buck. Now if I have a delicate stitch, a very delicate stitch, I will use a smaller needle, and I will break it down into 2 threads instead of 3. And then you get triple the amount of thread from your skein, because 2, 4, 6. So it's not often that I do a tiny delicate stitch that I would need 2 threads, but And I have in the past, I've done it, so. Now, on the back here, I have a choice of just coming across and starting this stitch. I could cut it, but if you look, by the time I cut tape, it's already the width. So I might as well just pull it across. I'm not going to be wasting anything. And just start the next row. Oopsie, needle fell out. I don't like stitching in the middle of the paper. It's a little bit harder than stitching the edges. But when the layout calls for it, I will do it. It just takes a little bit more time. It's just a little awkward, that's all. Nope, that one's done. Dumpling is sleeping in his sunspot. The sun's starting to come up. He is definitely doing some sleeping over there. I need to figure out why it's so dark in this corner. Maybe I need to get out my second light. Or maybe now that I've seen how the light in the front in my new room, how nice it's going to be, it seems darker in that corner. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my needle there, set that on top of it, in case kittens come running by. Scissors go point down. I'm going to take a tiny little break real fast. I need to run down the hallway, and I'll be right back. Get yourself some coffee. Kind of limber up your fingers because we're going to be stitching for a little bit longer, and I'll be right back. I see you, baby duckling. It's a little chilly in here. I probably should turn the fan off, but then I'll get hot. There's no happy medium. All right, tomato, don't argue with me. Let's not tape my hair down. Don't need any extra DNA. What? Let's move these if you're going to do that. What are you doing, baby boy? Did you hear me think that I'm going to do thread? I need to separate some thread. So we're going to go ahead and separate some thread really quick. I do mine differently than anybody else does. It's just me. You do not have to do it this way. I think these are 2. So that's not 3. Okay. Doesn't normally knot like this. This is a weird one. I didn't put it away properly. Let me get this unknotted. I didn't put it away properly. I must have been tired when I was doing this. Pop those back in. Those are 2s. There we go. Okay. I'm going to cut this in half because it is long. That's a bit too long. You want to make sure that it's a manageable length. You don't want anything outrageous. No, Bubby. No. Because, you know, your arm length is only so long. So let's separate some thread. Now, again, I do this differently than anybody else does. Separate your thread that is comfortable for you. So basically I turn it into 3s. I verify that I've got 3 on each side. Because there's nothing worse than separating it and then you go, oh, one's 4 and one's 2. Okay. And that's that. And then I just twirl it up and put it in my little jar. And I try to keep it all contained in my jar because I have cats. And I will normally thread or separate 1, maybe 2 skeins. I don't separate too much of it. Just in case I've got one that needs to be 2 threads versus 3 threads or anything like that. So I try not to separate too much at a time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But if you give it proper tension, it will separate very easily. You're being a good boy. Yes, you are. He's like right there. You can barely see his little paws, but he's sitting right there. Make sure there's no knottage. Okay, and then this is that one that we started with. He amazes me when it comes to thread. He would rather watch than anything. And I'm okay as long as they don't try to eat it. And sometimes when you get to the end, it will wind itself back up before you can catch it. Just trim that. It's not worth fighting. If there's an end on the end, a knot on the end of it from where it twirled before I could get to it, I just don't even worry with it. Okay, so I'm going to pop the lid on because I have a cat awake. And then this one I'm going to thread. I'm trying really, really hard to train them not to walk on the wallpaper section, that they can stay on the rest of the desk. But the wallpaper section I'm trying to mark off as my filming, so that if it's anything in the wallpaper, you guys, it's on camera, you guys can see it. And it also breaks the glare of the sheet metal, but yet I still have the advantage of the sheet metal. So, which is the magnet that I want. And the durability, and there's so many ands to having sheet metal. Easy to clean, protects the desk. Oh my goodness. See, that didn't take long at all. That was almost one skein. I think Biscuit was in here last time I was separating, and Biscuit will drive you crazy with thread. Dumpling does really well. Biscuit wants to eat everything, so I think I stopped trying to separate thread with him in the room. Try to keep anything pointy turned around so a cat doesn't walk on it. Oh, I wish I could turn the camera so you could see it. I don't know if I can. Hold on, let's see. Can you see him? Or you may not be able to see him around my... I don't know if you can see him or not. He's right over there, staring at the sun spot. So. He's such a good boy. He's such a good boy. He's such a good addition to the family. I know, quit talking about the cat. My child is grown. I don't have any kids at the house anymore. They become your babies. So, anyway, my mother-in-law, we took the trip. We drove, started off at her house, and she took me a different way. I have always gone to Florida via 20 or Highway 10 from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, that type of thing, along the coast. Well, that's an awful lot of highway. Oh my goodness, and not all of it is nice highway. And as far as, road repair and the middle of downtown cities, and some of it's stinky depending on where you are, bayous don't smell good sometimes, sorry. So we decided, and they did this last time they went to Florida, they took highway, okay, let me look, that might be a bit, and what I do is I basically just take my finger, put it in the middle, And if it's equal on either side, then it's not worth cutting and taping, so I'll just go across like I did before. So they went down Highway 82 last time, which I have never done, and they loved the drive. So this time I went to my mother-in-law's house, picked her up, because 82 starts at her house. I could have run it from mine, but it was just easier to go pick her up and start from her house. And we ran 82 all the way across. Now it is a smaller 2-lane, sometimes 3-lane highway. You run through all the small towns, so sometimes you got to go a little slower. And we did some antiquing, and we did some thrift shopping and that type of thing. So we didn't push ourselves to come back. So what is normally a 2-day drive, comfortable 2-day drive, we stretched into 3. We left on Monday. Well, we stretched into 4 coming back. It was 3 going over, 4 coming back, because we were playing. All kinds of antique stores, all kinds of just places to stop and look and play and shop and eat, and you know, there's food when you need food, there's gas when you need gas. I was never worried about gas. I never got so low that I was like, oh crap. And then there's lodging. Now they're not 4-star hotels, it's Comfort Inns, Quality Inns, La Quintas, that type of thing. But you just need a clean bed. You don't need, you know, 5-star hotels when you're doing an epic road trip. So we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. And I challenged myself. She drove a little bit once we got into Florida. I think she drove a little bit before we got to Florida, and then once we got to Florida, there was some nighttime driving because we wanted to get to the hotel closer to the grandparents. So she did a little bit of nighttime driving through the backwoods because I just couldn't see well enough. I was tired. But on the way back, I challenged myself to drive the entire way, just me, with her in the car. Now the purpose of the trip was to check on my husband's grandparents. They are 92 and 93 respectively. And they, you know, with this whole pandemic-y thing going on, they're not getting out, but yet they're also getting lonely. So along the way, we kept up our COVID practices. We, you know, hand sanitizer, soap, water, masks, distancing, the whole works to keep us safe, to keep them safe. We purposely did not want to fly. And I will tell you, the hotels are clean. So if you need to travel, you need to go visit family, you need to check on anybody, the hotels that we've stayed in were clean. There was no issue whatsoever. Went down, checked on them, spent a few days with them. Grandma seriously needed the social interaction. And then came back. So check on your loved ones, check on the ones that, you know, don't get out as much or need to see your face. Sometimes they just need to see your face, you know. And that was the goal of the trip, is just make sure everybody's okay, make sure that, you know, make sure they don't need anything. There was a couple of projects we finished while we were there that needed to be done that they couldn't reach, you know, like changing a tall light bulb, that type of thing. And just playing cards, reading on the sun porch, spending time with them, you know. That was the goal right there. So anyway, visited a little bit of my family on the way down. Didn't have time to visit everybody, and then I've got some family that I really wanted to visit, but the nature of their employment was a little bit more high risk, and since we were going to visit the grandparents and trying to stay socially, COVIDly safe, I hope my family understands, you know, that I was not able to visit them this time, but hopefully when this mess is over with and we're going to check on the grandparents, I'll be able to visit with them. Stephanie, Monica, I'm talking about you. You know, and I know you guys will understand protecting grandparents and elderlies, so just know that I love you, and next time I hope to get to see you. I know Stephanie is at least in the Facebook group. I don't know about Monica, so I see Stephanie all the time in my group, so I don't know if she watches the videos or not, but hopefully when Steph's not as crazy and I'm not trying to protect a grandparent, I'll try and get a hold of you. So, but I saw my sister and she is about to give birth. In fact, I think she gets induced today's Saturday. I think she gets induced tomorrow. And before anybody asks, there's 16 years difference between us. I'm the oldest. So she is still very safe to have a child. And so and she's about to pop. So I was glad I got to pop in, take her to dinner, and just see her for a few minutes. We literally dinner, hi, bye, I love you, get back on the road. So, and then visited with one of my aunts, made sure she was okay, and kept on going. So, had breakfast with one of my aunts. Well, I know she's okay. Her kids take excellent care of her, but just wanted to see her face. And it was literally breakfast, hi, bye, I love you, down the road. So, alright, this is the one where I'm getting a little awkward, because you may not be able to see much because of the way I'm having to hold the paper. But on the Georgia-Alabama line, Eufaula. I can't remember what Georgia town it was. But on the Alabama side, it was Eufaula. I think Mikey's awake. There's some really cute antique stores over there. A Mexican restaurant that we stopped at. But we crossed the Alabama-Georgia line a couple of times because gas was cheaper on Georgia side. But Daddy's up. There goes Dumpling. Gas was cheaper on the Georgia side, but the antique stores were on the Alabama side. And so we went across the river a couple of times, depending on what we needed to do. And it was just funny. Because it was, yay, we're in Alabama. Turn around, yay, we're in Georgia. Yay, we're in Alabama. So we enjoyed it. So, and I can't tell you how many times we passed something going down the road and went, ooh, antique store, U-turn, you know. And that's just part of the fun. And I love taking trips like that where you've got the time. And I know if you're working, if you're still raising children, you know, you still have your full-time job, you're not going to be able to do this type of travel just yet. My mother-in-law and I are both retired. I'm not having to worry about an income on my end. My husband still works full-time or over full-time, if you know him. And I have the luxury, and I will say luxury, of being able to do this. So, and not flying meant the grandparents were more comfortable with us coming out. But taking our time on the way back was the fun part for us. Excuse me. I did not mean to burp. Yep, kittens are up. Daddy's up. I missed a hole. Or you know what? I may not have. But we'll put one right there. There we go. And the really weird part of this trip is, you know, we have audiobooks, we had music, we've got our satellite radio. We rarely used it. We just had plenty of conversation. I mean, we didn't even have music going on in the background. We just talked almost the entire way through and snacked. One of the best stops was coming out of Tifton, Georgia. On 82, there is a farm stand, I think it's called Mark's. And they had all their pumpkin stuff. Like, they had like a little pumpkin festival set up. Now, there might have been, at this time of day, there might have been 10 people on the entire property. So, no, and this was on the way back, so we didn't technically have to be worried with it. But it's kind of like one of those little family, hey, we've got a corn maze over here, we've got hay things over here, we got a blow-up bounce house over here, and pumpkins and a farm stand. But there was probably, because of how early it was, probably 10 people on the entire property. But I walked around taking pictures of pumpkins, taking pictures of the cotton storage, because it was in the middle of a cotton field and a cornfield. And then the fruit stand. Now the fruit stand, vegetable stand. The one thing I was always like, if I can find a stand in Georgia, I bet you I can find green raw peanuts. I needed a bag of green raw peanuts. Now, if you're from the South, you know what I'm about to say. In Texas, you might, well, Circle K is coming into Texas, so you might be able to buy boiled peanuts at a Circle K. But you cannot find green raw peanuts in Texas. I have looked. I have lived here for 34 years. Ooh, I'm dating myself. And I've never seen them. So they had a smallish type bag, probably that big bag of green raw peanuts. And I'm going to keep saying that because if you are looking to boil some peanuts, those are the ones you need to boil, is green raw peanuts. You basically throw them in a pot, cover them with water. I know it takes one Morton like size box of salt. I bought 2 just in case. And you just let them boil until the shells are soft. And they turn kind of a brown, almost a black color. They look a little weird, but holy crap, they're good. Man, they're good. That with a glass of iced tea, sit on the back porch. Heaven. Heaven. So, anyway, I got my peanuts, I bought some salt, we're going to dig down my canning pot, and we're going to make some peanuts. But I bought some peanuts, I bought some Georgia wildflower honey, and I bought a bag of, like a regular farm stand size bag of shelled pecans, because I wanted to snack on those on the road. Let's see if I can do it this way. And then we found some, oh, that's the other thing we did. We found some Amish communities to do some Amish shopping. Most of them were duds. It was really, really weird. You'd pull up to the property, there was a sign that they sell stuff, and it didn't appear that anybody lived there. The grass wasn't mowed. The only even signs of life was laundry on the line, but that was it. And then coming back down the lane, there were like 4 or 5 places that had signs that they had stuff for sale, but no signs of life. But we found another property. I was like, okay, well, let's try this. Went down there, and with this one, you could actually see a small shed with some canned goods in it. So there was a girl, probably 17, 18 years old, on a porch painting a window. Like, they took a window out and she's painting it. And I came out of the car and I just called over to her, you know, is this stuff for sale? Are you selling your canned goods? And she's like, oh, yes. So we went in, because, you know, you don't know sometimes if they're selling them or just putting them away from the winter. And I just wanted to verify before I went into her shed, you know, that yes, that was the for sale items. And I found some hot sauce for some green, and I asked her, I said, how hot is this? And she said, very hot. And I was like, cool, that's what I want. Some green hot sauce for Jonathan, my daughter's boyfriend. And I found a jar of elderberry syrup, which I've never had before, but I'm interested in it. And a huge jar of sweet dill pickles. And I thought, okay, cool. I picked up those. My mother-in-law picked up a jar of elderberry syrup, or not syrup, elderberry jelly for lack of a better word. And a big jar of pineapple pie filling. So we were happy about that. We spent a total of $21 or something like that. And then I had to crack up because we came out of wherever we were. I don't even know where we were. We were in the middle of nowhere. And there's a little gas station. It was kind of like a V in the road, and the gas station was right in the middle of the V. And I had to go to the bathroom so bad. I was just like, I gotta stop. I don't care. Please let it be a clean bathroom, but however, I don't care. I gotta go potty. So we go into this gas station. By the way, it was really clean. I was really impressed because some of those little fishing, you know, when they sell bait in the store, some of them, depending on who the person is running the store and the amount of fishermen that come in, some of them aren't the cleanest. Even the girls, because some of the guys use the girls' bathroom, and they come traipsing in with mud. They come traipsing in, you know, and if the clerk can't get away and they can't clean it, sometimes it's not the cleanest. I was impressed. This was a really clean bathroom. I had no problem doing what I needed to do. It's a little bit too much information, but that's just me. Anyway, I come out, and my mother-in-law, she's doing something over on the fried food hot plate table thing, and I spotted an ATM, and I was like, you know what? By the time I try to find a bank, I can spend the $3 on the ATM, get a little cash, because I spent the rest of my cash at the Amish store, and I wasn't sure if we were going to find any more Amish people to shop with, because that's one thing we love to do is stop and shop. And they take cash, of course. So I picked up a little bit of cash. Figured by the time I try to find a bank, I can spend that $3 in gas. She comes out, because I went back to the car to get my cup. I wanted to get some ice for myself. She comes out with this little bag. I got catfish. She bought fried catfish from a gas station. And I've got the cutest picture. She's going down the road. Now, guys, I hate fish. I do not like fish. She's going down the road in the passenger seat, eating this fried catfish in my car. She ate it so fast there wasn't even a fishy smell in my car. So, she thoroughly enjoyed that catfish. And okay, go for it. You know. I went in, potted, used the ATM, and bought 50 cents worth of ice in my cup. So, and she spent a whole $2.50 on catfish. He did get a lot of business from us. And so, but anyway, yeah, we try to find Amish stores or Mennonite stores and stock up, because there's some items they just do really well, and it's worth the drive to go see the different items, you know. Now if you're in Branson, there's a huge Amish store, I think it's more Mennonite actually, that sells a lot of bulk items, a lot of mixes, a lot of herbs, a lot of candy, and I love going there. And then there's another one just over the Texas-Oklahoma line on the Sherman side, so Windstar, Choctaw, on the Choctaw side. Tiny little Amish quote store, Mennonite store, that same premise, just smaller, that we love. When we go up that direction, we stop there and get a few things. So, and then we also went to the Amish stores in Michigan while we were up there this summer. I didn't pick up a lot because there were so many people in the car and so much stuff in the car that that we just didn't have room. So I didn't pick up a lot. I picked up a little bit of stuff that we consumed then, you know, like cookies or candy or something. But where I would normally buy herbs, mixes, they've got a French onion mix, the powder for a French onion soup that is fantastic. They also have a, if you can ever find it, it's a vegetable soup in a jar, and it's in a quart-sized jar. I think it's called Black Buggy or something like that brand. But when I could find that, I like to buy 2 or 3 jars of it, because you can add Italian sausage, smoked sausage, something like that. Heat it up, and you've got a complete meal, and that's really good for when we're on the camper. Just a really quick, good meal, easy for like a lunch or something. So I like to have a few of those, and it's really good. And they also make, their cheeses are really good. There's a horseradish cheddar that I really enjoy. So I get a summer sausage and one of those and a box of crackers, and I'm a happy girl. Okay, we're just about done with this one, and then we have 2 on the opposite sheet, and then we'll be done sewing. I know it takes a while, but I love it, and it really does make a difference. Okay. But yeah, Barbara and I haven't taken off on a road trip since 2014, 2015, 2015, because I retired, no, 2014, because I retired Thanksgiving 2013. I was going to retire New Year's Eve. It was going to be my last day at work, and because I gave them 3 or 4 months notice that I was going to be leaving, and I wanted to leave on New Year's Eve, December 31st, so I didn't start a new tax year. But I also didn't want to leave them hanging during a holiday. It's an emergency room, and, you know, to me it's rude. I didn't want to leave them hanging during a holiday when somebody else could have been taking a vacation. So I told them December 31st was my last day, which is also the worst night to work in an emergency room. But they found a replacement. She was completely trained by Thanksgiving. So I was told the Tuesday, because I worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, my last Tuesday, I was told, you're good, we're good. Perfect. And by then I had already given a month notice, so we were all happy. So that was 2013. And then holidays, which it was the first holidays I'd been home with the family celebrating holidays on the holiday, the actual day. It was so exciting. Did the holidays in January, and I think my mother-in-law and I, 2014, in March, took off on a road trip. And that was what I just finished scrapbooking. So there are several videos on that. Guys, I'm going to put the needle down again and go over to down the hallway really quickly. And I'll be right back. biscuit. Come on, let's go see the people. What, baby? I will. I'll come down as soon as I'm done. Okay, feel better. There we go. Okay. So I just have 2 that I need to stitch really quickly. And then we can move on to the photographs and the embellishments and the title. Don't forget the title this time. Last time I got everything down and forgot the title. So the title was in a really weird spot and didn't look very good. I was kind of disappointed about that, because the layout itself looked rather nice, and the title screwed it up. So yep, I think that one will work. The title that I'm using this time is actually off the sticker sheet, and it is it's a sticker, but I think it'll fit, it'll work. I may have to back it to make it pop a little bit. Come on, you can do it. There you go. There comes a point, I don't care how much you like to stitch, there comes a point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to be done. And this is one of those. Oh, that one didn't pokey all the way. There we go. So I'm going to let my husband finish waking up. I'm going to finish this live. Then we have an errand to run, and then sheet metal. And then I think tomorrow I'm going to do the live for layout 3. Because it is due on Monday. And then I will be completely caught up with the group. And I don't have any more travel planned for a while, so we'll see. 20 weeks. Actually, I may need to work ahead because it's going to run into January it's going to run into January. So I may need to work ahead because, wishful thinking, we have a cruise January, February. So I may need to actually work ahead and get something else in, or I can wait till I get back, or, you know, it's a cruise. Fingers crossed, but I don't know. I want to go, but I don't know. So, okay, one more thread and then we're done. Okay, you want to play? All right, well, come on now. Okay. Ouch, elbow. I'm on the fence about revealing what's done on the room right now versus just doing one big reveal. I've been taking pictures, but I'm on the fence about whether or not to do a video. I'm going to do a reveal video, a scrap room tour, but I don't know, we'll have to see. I'm just so happy with these tables that he built. We raised them just a hair. These are shorter because I'm short. An inch, I think, to accommodate trash cans because I'm having trouble getting trash cans under the desk. And that's where I want them, so we raised the desk just about an inch. I know it seems like this is taking forever, but I'm sewing as fast as I can. Oopsie. One more. Yay, done with stitching. Okay, let's tie this off and put away our toys, and then we will finish out this layout. Okay. Let's put everything away. My stitching supplies is one thing that I really can't leave out for any length of time because I don't want the cats to eat needles. I don't want them to eat threads. So I have to just take a moment, put everything away, make sure it's safe. Kind of have to think like you've got toddlers in the house again. So tape. Let's go with it. Okay. Alrighty. So pop the magnet back down. That would have been bad. Pop the magnet back down and this. Okay. Well, that hides all the stitching that I did. I don't want that. Spread over some. That would work. Okay. Now I'm using score tape because we're going over stitching. So and I want to make sure that we have a good hold. And pop this up a little bit. And then for this one, I'm going to add some score tape to it. Give it a little bit of extra oomph because again, it's going over the stitching, so. I know it seems a little weird to put stitching or to put adhesive over adhesive, but I want to make sure that it stays where I want it. Okay, so now this, I scoot it over a little bit. Now I want the camera. This guy. And then where's the other one? Like that right there. Got it. Okay. Thinking I want that might actually be it. Okay, let's add some sparkle. And I think that's it. So I have a large container of bitty sparkles. These are my favorite size sparkles, with close to my heart. And I buy the crap out of them because they're like the perfect size for adding just a touch of something. Sounds like Dumpling's not in the mood today. Or not Dumpling, Biscuit. He thinks little brothers are irritating. So I'm just adding a few sparkles to places that need some highlights. Anywhere else? These middle sparkles don't want to stay in that row, but oh well. I got a butterfly over there. Let's highlight him. He's on the actual paper. But we'll highlight him too. We'll turn him into an embellishment. there. Extra embellishment. And don't mind the glare, but here is page 2. And page 1. And there we go, and side by side. I like this one. I like it a lot. I really wish I could show you the original sketch. I stayed pretty close to the original sketch. The photo placements over here on the bottom side are a little different than the way she did it, but I also have a larger photo. It's supposed to be 3 3x3s and 1 4x4, and I really wanted to get this photo in, and it needed to be a 4x4 to make it happen. And this photo, if I tried to make it a 3x3, it just was going to lose some of its power, and I didn't want to do that either. So I had to modify the sketch just a little bit, but I think ultimately it worked. Thank you so much for joining me. I know that you have 101 different channels that you could be watching, and I'm very, very thankful that you choose to spend just a few hours of your day with me. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye, guys.